Hey guys, this is Natalie from Inspired Alignment. I know that it's super late right now and that I have like 4 other readings that I have to do for the horoscope signs. But I was being drawn to put this reading out there. I've gotten the message quite a few times throughout the night. So I'm going to do this reading, and then tomorrow I will finish up with the horoscope signs. But this reading in particular is going to be for twin flames that are in contact but are having blockages within the relationship. For those of you that have followed my channel for quite some while, this is definitely a situation that I resonate with. I very rarely am not in contact with my twin flame, but we do still continue to have blockages within our relationship that prevents us from bringing us into union in some way, shape, or form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some cards for the masculine energy, for the feminine energy, and then for the union. And then as clarifiers, we're going to clarify what the blockage is for each piece. So I'm going to go ahead and get started for the energy of the masculine. So Spirit, can I have one card for the masculine energy of twin flames that are in contact during this time? And this reading may not resonate with everybody, but if you are in contact with your twin flame and there are blockages within the relationship, then this very well could resonate for you. So Spirit, can I get one message for the masculine energy for twin flames who are in contact but have blockages? One card for the masculine energy. One card for the masculine's energy. Okay. We have the Seven of Earth. So can I get one card for the feminine's energy for twin flames that are in contact but are still experiencing blockages? One card for the feminine's energy. Okay, we have the Nine of Water. And then one card for the union, for twin flames that are in contact but are still experiencing blockage within the relationship. Okay, we have the Nine of Air. And then underneath the deck, we have the Ace of Earth with the Faith card. So what I see from here is that the masculine energies are basically really kind of trying to overcome some of the lower chakra blockages that they have within their life. So we're talking about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. Specifically, the root chakra and the solar plexus. So the root chakra, you know, to me is very attached to like the material type things, like money and resources, and feeling like they are blocked in this area for some reason, that they're unable to to get or receive all of the things that they need in this area. Like there is a blockage in that area. And then the solar plexus is about kind of the self-confidence. Like they are having to work on self-confidence and having the faith within their self, you know, that they are an unconditionally loving being and that they are a good person. So to me, these two things are really standing out, and they're both things that they are working on at this time. So they may be spending a lot of time in solitude or spending a lot of time by themselves. And during this time that they're spending by themselves, these are some of the things that they are working through. Now, for the feminine, she has the Nine of Water, which is not very surprising. The feminine is just continuing to hope and wish for this union to come together. She is, trying to like meditate and manifest her dreams in all different ways, not just about this union, but about all the different things within her life. And I feel like the feminine is really kind of working more from the heart space, through this area of unconditional love for her divine masculine, for the union, and just in life in general. Like she has really kind of moved into this space of operating from the heart chakra. Whereas the masculine is kind of still trying to build his way up into this heart space. Now, for the union here, we have the Nine of Air, which is basically saying that there is still like this blockage. There is definitely a bind and a bond that is connecting these two together, but there's still something that is holding something back. Like people are feeling like their hands are tied. If you can see in this card, like her hands are literally tied together in this card. But in between that tie is a sword. So there is like a truth or a knowing that is present here. And then underneath the deck here we have the Ace of Earth and the Faith card. So this is basically saying to continue to have faith that this relationship is going to materialize in the physical world. That, the union as a whole between these two people is going to manifest itself into some kind of a union, whatever that union is, based on your particular path or destiny with this person, is going to materialize itself in the physical world, and that faith is needed, and that we need to still continue to have faith within this relationship. So what I'm going to do is pull some clarifiers on each one of these, and these clarifiers are going to be based around the blockage itself. So let's get one card for what in particular is one thing or the most major thing that is blocking the masculine during this time frame right now. What is this Seven of Earth about for the masculine? What is the major blockage here for the masculine energy? Okay, we have the Nine of Swords. So this is the main blockage for the masculine, is that he is in his head a lot, dealing with a lot of different thoughts, not knowing which way is the right way. He could also be kind of dwelling and thinking about things that have taken place in the past, and has not really been able to maybe get over things that have taken place in the past. And then also I'm getting a feeling of like this worry of what's going to also happen here in the future. So the masculine is very much up in his head and still kind of trying to work through these lower chakra blockages. But the main blockage here for him is his thoughts about negative things. There could actually be times where, you know, he's feeling like he can't sleep at night because he's dealing with a lot of worry, stress, and anxiety. He could even be having dreams that that are kind of you know, making him feel a certain way, or making him anxious or unsure about this path that he is being guided into. So let's get one card for the feminine. What is the main blockage here for the feminine and this hoping and wishing that she's doing? What is the main blockage here for the feminine energy? One card for the main blockage for the feminine. Okay, here we have the Knight of Cups. So her blockage is that she is, I'm getting two messages, that she is afraid to fully open herself up and give herself fully, maybe because of things that have happened in the past, maybe because she has been hoping and wishing for this thing to come together for so long that, like, when it finally you know, comes down to it happening, she is going to be reluctant to kind of give her cup of love, because of fear of maybe the same things happening again. But I'm also getting that her main blockage is that she is focused on the masculine not giving his cup of love. She is worried that he is never going to get to this place where he is emotionally available and giving his love to her fully. So let's get one card for this Nine of Air for the union as a whole. What is the blockage here for this feminine and masculine and their union as a whole? One card for the Nine of Air. Okay, here we have the King of Swords. So, I'm kind of feeling like this, like an element of truth is coming through here because of the sword that he's holding in his hand. And also it just kind of makes me think of like how this person's hands are tied here in the Nine of Air. It's almost like this sword of truth can cut those binds off of the hands that are tying these two people's hands together. There just needs to be the realization and the recognition of the truth within this union. And I don't know, I guess it's kind of like bringing together that the feeling, the spiritual knowing and the emotional knowing into the logical space for both people and for the union as a whole. I'm going to pull one more card for the King of Swords just to see what other information we can get here with this. And I have one more card for the King of Swords. Okay, yeah, we have the Five of Wands, so conflict. So conflict with maybe, you know, excuse me, a conflict with maybe being able to fully stand in the truth of this union. And this is both people here, I mean, because this is the union as a whole. So cutting through the bullshit, basically. Getting past all of these inner conflicts and outside conflicts that have taken place throughout the union over time. And you know, if you take a look at this card, it's like all these people are kind of like swatting at a beehive and they're blindfolded. And there's just one guy in the background that's kind of like standing back and watching all these people do this. And it's like, it almost feels like the King of Swords, you know, like he's the one that's kind of standing back watching the people do this because he knows the truth of the situation. And it's like he could just go up there and cut the beehive down off of that limb right there, you know, and cut the blindfolds off of these people, you know, and just everybody would kind of be like, oh wow, like this is what, you know, we're really doing here. Like there needs to be almost like an eye opening or a realization, you know. And I just am really getting like this sense of the truth, you know, because I think that there is, within both the masculine and feminine, there is a knowing, there is an inner truth, of the connection of this relationship, but really standing in that truth and believing in that and getting away from, you know, there could be other people in, both of your guys' lives that maybe wouldn't understand this connection, or would maybe, you know, think that, you know, you guys are nuts, or, you know, it almost seems like this could be like outside forces or just like outside conflict within each of your guys' lives. And it's like, standing in the truth of what you know to be real and kind of using that truth to cut yourself out of, these like binding situations or these binding thoughts is going to kind of be, you know, what helps. But that's the blockage here. The blockage is, you know, outside conflict with other people. Maybe there's people, that don't agree with the relationship, or this just could be separate between the two of you. Each of you guys could be dealing with, conflict in your lives, you know, that are just don't have anything to do with the relationship, but just a lot of kind of drama and conflict going on in each of your guys' life. And there needs to be this like strong energy of truth, you know, that comes about and kind of just cuts away all of the bullshit. And that is what the blockage here, with the union is. So let's get one card for this, Ace of Earth and the Faith card. What do we need to know about the Ace of Earth and the Faith card? Is there a blockage here? What is the main blockage between the Ace of Earth and the Faith card? Okay, giving and receiving. And, you know, in some cases here, I am kind of picking up third-party situation, with this, like, Seven of Swords underneath the deck. And so if there is a situation like that happening, and most twin flames do deal with a third energy, whether it's an intimate relationship, another person, or something completely different. This is kind of, both people, whichever person is kind of dealing with this, it's kind of like, letting the worry of that go. If in the past there was a cheating scenario or something where somebody took off and kind of, you know, created, a huge, disconnect within the relationship, and there wasn't, you know, an equal giving and receiving, I'm feeling like this stuff, you know, and there was like stuff that was unknown about it. Under here we have the Page of Wands, which a lot of time I see as like, interference or other people talking or third party situations. And then here we have the Ace of Swords, which is truth. And then here we have the Hierophant, which is surrender. You know, surrendering. Like, to me, this feels like all past stuff. This is all stuff that has taken place in the past. There could have been other people that one of the partners was giving, to behind your back. There could have been some sneaky kind of behavior going on. There were secrets. There were things, with other people talking, or, just things that were unknown within the relationship that seemed like unfair or hurtful. And, that is the truth. But behind that, we have the Hierophant. And in this deck, this stands for surrender. So that's what needs to happen. Surrender to these things. All of these things that took place, they were all lessons. They were all things that needed to happen in order to move each individual into growing into a new person, into becoming the best person that they could possibly be. And for some of you guys, I feel like these things could still be going on, while for others of you, I feel like this is all past stuff that needs to just be fully surrendered, so that this relationship, this union can truly manifest into the physical world, and that faith and belief and trust in that is going to really, help bring this together. And all of this other stuff that has happened before, it's surrendering to knowing that everything has a purpose, everything has a reason for why things had to happen the way that they did. And, I feel like for this group, like this stuff, this old past stuff is already kind of being moved past. Like, people are already going through this surrender, and maybe there's just like a few pieces of it left, that people are having to surrender to. But for this particular group, I feel like you're close to this union. I feel like the masculine here is definitely aware, but is definitely going through, some inner conflict and some inner anxiety. And for the feminine, she's already reached this point of unconditional love and living from her heart space. And it's just, her blockage is just like this, almost like this waiting to give and receive, like this cup of love. And under the deck here we have the Six of Swords, which is, this is being guided. This is being divinely guided by destiny itself. And, the main message here is to continue to have faith and to surrender to any of the other crap that has happened in the past, because now we are here. Now we are in a new moment. Now we are in the present moment. And these are the things that we should be focusing on now. We should be focusing on working through the blockages within ourselves that need to be cleared away. We're working through how to operate from our heart space and our heart chakra, and still believing and trusting in the universe and wishing for all things that can be possible, and cutting through the bullshit and cutting through the things that are no longer serving us, whether it's drama going on around us or whether it is, drama within ourselves. It's, grabbing that sword of truth and slicing your way through it. And I think that is super important. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card here. I always forget the name of this deck, but let's pull one card from here and see what other messages we have for twin flames that are in contact but are still kind of dealing with some blockages within the union. What other messages do we have here? Okay, decision. And then under the deck, we have the Emperor. So decision says, release yourself from that which holds you back. A need to detox. Unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. And I feel like this really kind of goes for the masculine, because we see that here. I seen it with the solar plexus. This like lack of self-confidence. He's working on building up that self-confidence and clearing that solar plexus chakra and learning how to release himself from the things that are holding back. He's going kind of like through this purging process right now. The Emperor was underneath that, which says stability, efficiency, taking charge of a situation, and ambitious plans. I also feel like that is a message for the masculine. This is where he is learning to go. So once he's able to kind of clear out these blockages within those lower three chakras, this is like where he's headed. This is the goal, to reach stability and efficiency and to start taking charge of a situation and be ambitious. So let's get 2 cards for the feminine energy. Spirit, what are 2 cards for the feminine energy? For twin flames that are in contact but are still dealing with blockages. 2 cards for the feminine energy. Okay, the 8 of Ariel. Take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training. So I feel like, the feminine is working from her heart space. She is kind of manifesting, and I see like meditating here in this card, like her third eye is open. And so it's telling you to continue doing the great work that you are doing already, and start to continue working on yourself even more. Maybe there is some additional education or training that you can look into receiving to kind of advance yourself more on your individual and your personal journey during this time. While your masculine is kind of dealing with these other things going on, you shouldn't just sit around and wait. Continue to try and develop yourself into being even greater at the things that you're already doing. And then under the deck here we had 2 of Gabriel. Make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. Again, I feel like this is kind of like the feminine being on her mission. I feel like the feminine is already doing some really great things, and has already taken steps towards her individual divine path or divine mission. And this is basically telling you to continue doing that, continue learning and expanding your knowledge when it comes to this, and continue like working with other people who are on that same divine path, and who can benefit from the things that you are gaining. So let's get 1 card for the union. Let's see if there's 1 card for the union. Do we have 1 message for the union, Spirit? 6 of Gabriel. Congratulations, you have done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project. Awards, scholarships, and promotions. So that's funny. I do feel like this union in particular, so those of you who are in contact with your twin flame and are just kind of still dealing with like individual blockages or blockages within the union, this is telling you congratulations. You guys have moved on to the next phase. You're in contact. You are still being able to work together in a certain kind of a way, even if you're not like living together, or even if your union hasn't come together completely. You guys have moved to a new phase within this relationship where things are beginning to be acknowledged. And each person is still kind of doing their individual thing, but the union as a whole has moved on to a new phase. You know, we've moved up a level, and I think that that's absolutely perfect for this reading. Underneath the deck, it says, "It's the light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sigh of relief and make new plans, relocation, or travel." So yes, there has been a light at the end of the tunnel that has been reached. If you know you are a group of twin flames that at one point was in no contact with your twin, or you know you felt like that this relationship was going to be completely over and that you were never going to be able to come back together, obviously you're in communication. You are still kind of individually working on things on your own, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that those who this message resonates with, you're starting to see that within the union. And it is kind of time to maybe switch up the way that we're doing things. Expand. For the feminines, it's expanding on the things that you've already started. And for the masculine, this is, finally being able to kind of recognize some of these things to the point where you're able to clear through these blockages within the chakra, and get through some of these issues, that some of this like lack consciousness. And I feel like it's not going to take the masculine, I don't feel like, as long as it has taken the feminine, because I feel like at this point the feminine has already kind of advanced ahead of the masculine. Even if the masculines were awake before the feminines, which in many cases that is true, but then there are some cases where it's not. But I feel like the feminine has kind of surpassed the masculine in some way. And by the feminine doing this and continuing to stay in this unconditional love and continuing to stay on her path and stay on her mission, that is just helping accelerate the masculine in his process. So he is going to be able to clear through many of these blockages that he holds, I feel like, much faster than it has taken the feminine. And so, I mean, there is this, even though you may be frustrated that this union is not coming together exactly the way that you maybe envisioned, that's all kind of part of detaching from what our expectations are. But, these cards are saying that, like, good job, like you've already reached a huge milestone within this connection. And there is more great and beautiful things coming within this connection. Just continue to have faith, because things are still going to continue to materialize for this relationship in the material world. So I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card for this. What other messages do twin flames who are in contact but are still dealing with blockages, what is one message that they need to know? One message for this group of twin flames. One message for this group. Okay, strength. Strength. We have to continue to have the strength. We have to continue to know that this is still happening. We're still on this path. Underneath the deck, we have cycles. I feel like a lot of us have ended a cycle, and we're now starting to evolve into this new cycle. But let's go ahead and read what these cards say. Strength says, "This challenge will make you stronger. You will get through to the other side. Look for the gifts in this situation." So very much, within this relationship, there may be some conflicts and some challenges that you guys are still facing. But, take a look at the good thing within this union. You guys are still in contact. You're still able to communicate with each other. And for most of you who have been on this journey for a while, you're probably communicating in a much healthier way, in a way that you were not able to communicate in the past. You're able to have like discussions about things that you probably couldn't have even imagined when you first met this person. So really kind of look at the good things within this relationship, even if there are some challenging times. Continue to look for the gifts within this situation, and know that you are going to get through to the other side once each person is able to overcome their own challenges individually. Now here we have cycles. Everything has its right time. Honor the cycles in your body. Tune into the moon's magic. So for some of you guys, the moon that is coming up January 21st, that's like supposed to be a really intense moon. It's like a full moon lunar eclipse. So there may be something specifically that happens during that time for this union, or for one of the partners within this union. And I couldn't help but notice this card underneath here says intention. Be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want. Be bold with your requests to the universe. So this to me is about manifestation and putting your intentions out into the universe and being able to manifest the things that you want to create within your life. So really, continue doing this and be conscious of what it is that you are putting out into the universe. Even if it's not something that you are physically or verbally saying, your feelings also get put out into the universe. So if you're feeling a particular way, that's getting put out to the universe. The universe is still receiving that message. So if inside you're saying, or you're feeling, like, oh my God, I'm just so sick of this relationship, I'm just done and over with it, the universe is going to kind of send that back to you, and it's going to create some kind of a challenge here within this union. But if you're putting out an intention of I am so grateful for this relationship and for the things that it has taught me and shown me, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter of this relationship is going to be, and something along those lines, then you're going to receive, the universe is going to give back to you something that is more positive and along those lines. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one card here from the Sacred Geometry deck for twin flames that are in communication, that are still dealing with blockages. Spirit, can we get one message from the Sacred Geometry deck for twin flames who are in contact but are still dealing with blockages during this time? One message. Okay, here we have the Diamond Mandala, and it was in the reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and read this from the book. It's number 17. Okay, in the reverse, this card says, know that allowing your light to shine does not mean trying to outshine others. Very interesting. I feel like this message may apply to the feminine a little bit more. I feel like be mindful that the masculine is aware that you have kind of moved ahead in a certain way when it comes to like this ascension process, or like this awareness process. Everybody kind of goes through this process in a different way. Nobody is better than another person because all of the pieces fit together just like a puzzle. So just because you are able to shine your light and be knowledgeable or helpful in certain areas does not make you better than the next person. And it doesn't make you better than your masculine in any kind of a way. And I feel like this is a message almost coming from the masculine, you know, that he may be feeling this way. He may be feeling like you are kind of trying to outshine him. And for the masculines listening to this, know that that's not the intention of the feminine here. The feminine is just really kind of trying to go with her inner knowing and, really trying to focus on her path and living in unconditional love. And just because maybe you are not maybe at that specific area or that spot yet doesn't mean that she is better than you. It just means that, you're still kind of going through some things that need to be worked out. If you jumped into being able to do some of the same things that the feminine's doing right now without taking care of clearing out all of these other blockages, then you would be doing this from an area that was not true, was not based from unconditional love. You would kind of be going against what is truly, what your true divine path is, and you would be operating from your ego self instead of operating through unconditional love. So feminines, be mindful that your masculine may be feeling this way, and masculines, be mindful that you are going to get there and that nobody is better than anybody else. Everybody is kind of going through their process on their own individual level. So you guys, I'm going to close this reading off right here. It is literally 2:30 in the morning, and I just felt like I needed to come out here and do this. I'm going to do another reading that's kind of similar to this because I feel like twin flames who are in contact is something that resonates with me quite a bit. And so I probably will come up with like a different way of laying this out and going through both the masculine and feminine. But this was kind of just spur of the moment, to get some of these messages out there. So I hope that the messages helped you guys. Next time I'll try and be a little bit more organized with it. And tomorrow I am going to be posting up the rest of the zodiac signs for January of 2019. So hope that these messages helped you guys, and I will see you soon. Take care.